Have you ever felt guilty for becoming a better version of yourself? Yeah, let that sink in for a second. Today, we're talking about something nobody warns you about. The silent pain of outgrowing people and why it might be the loneliest feeling in the world. Let's dive in. So, here's the thing about pain, right? The real kind of pain, it doesn't show up like some dramatic movie scene. No explosions, no big fights, no slamming doors. Nah, it creeps in. Quiet, almost polite. You ever had that moment where you look around and realize something's changed? The people who used to feel like home, they're still there, but now they feel distant. Like there's this invisible wall between you and them. And here's the messed up part. Nothing even went wrong. No betrayal, no argument, no drama. You just changed. And that's when the guilt starts eating you alive. Because here's what nobody tells you. You didn't leave these people behind on purpose. You just kept growing. And growth? Man, growth comes with a price tag nobody talks about. Outgrowing people doesn't feel like winning, does it? It feels like betrayal, even when nobody says it out loud. Because society's out here screaming at you to level up, right? Be better, hustle harder, evolve, glow up, but nobody, and I mean nobody, talks about the guilt that comes with it. The guilt of leaving people behind while you're out here trying to become the best version of yourself. So, let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed conversations starting to feel recycled? Like you're having the same talks over and over again? You bring up your dreams, your goals, the stuff that gets you excited, and you're met with silence. Or worse, those polite nods that basically scream, I don't get it, but okay. So you know what you do? You start editing yourself, dumbing down your thoughts, downplaying your wins, making yourself smaller, not because you're trying to flex on anyone, but because you don't want to make them feel uncomfortable. And that's where the trap closes. You start wondering, am I changing too much? Am I becoming someone they can't recognize anymore? Am I the bad guy here, just for moving forward? Here's what most people won't admit out loud. Outgrowing someone doesn't mean you think you're better than them. It just means you're not the same person who fit comfortably into that old dynamic anymore. And here's the thing about dynamics, they don't explode. They fade. You used to bond over the same struggles, right? The same fears. The same late-night rants about how life sucks. But now, you're out here solving problems they're still stuck in. You're asking questions they're avoiding. You're choosing the uncomfortable path while they're playing it safe. Suddenly, you're the odd one out, even though you're the one who changed. So now you feel responsible. Responsible for the distance. Responsible for the awkward silences. Responsible for this shift that wasn't even your fault. But here's the truth. Growth doesn't ask for permission. It just happens. And the guilt? Yeah, that stays. Now, psychologically speaking, there's a reason this hits so hard. When you grow, you don't just gain clarity, you gain awareness. And awareness? Man, awareness is both a gift and a curse. You become aware of patterns you used to tolerate, toxic loops you used to laugh off, behaviors you normalized that now make you uncomfortable. That awareness creates separation. Not physical at first, but emotional. You're still in the same room, but mentally, you've already left the building. And here's the worst part. You miss them. You miss who they were to you. You miss who you were with them. You miss the version of yourself that didn't overthink every interaction, that didn't feel guilty for dreaming bigger, that didn't feel like every step forward meant losing something behind. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt lonely? even when you're doing better than you've ever been. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Because here's the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to hear. Growth always costs something. Sometimes it costs comfort. Sometimes it costs certainty. And sometimes it costs people. But society doesn't show you that part, does it? Nah, society shows you the highlight reel, the glow up, the success, the Instagram posts with captions like, "New chapter, who dis?" But it rarely shows the quiet nights. The ones where you're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering if you've become too different to belong anywhere. You start asking yourself, why do I feel lonely even when I'm winning? Why do I feel guilty for wanting more? Why does success sometimes feel heavier than failure? And the answer isn't that you're ungrateful. The answer is that growth separates before it unites. When you outgrow people, you enter this weird space, this limbo. You're no longer who you were, but you're not yet fully surrounded by people who match who you're becoming. So you float. And floating? Man, floating feels lonely as hell. Now, let's talk about why this guilt feels so physically heavy. Because it's not just in your head. Humans are literally wired for belonging. It's in our DNA. For thousands of years, being cast out from your tribe meant death. Isolation wasn't just emotional. It was a survival threat. So when growth threatens connection, your nervous system interprets it as danger. Even if your logical brain knows you're evolving, your body's screaming that you're losing safety. That's why you second guess yourself. That's why you think about slowing down. That's why part of you considers shrinking back just to keep the peace. But here's what you need to understand. Peace that requires self-betrayal. That's not peace. That's just postponement. Eventually the cost becomes too high. You feel drained after conversations that used to energize you. You feel misunderstood even when people are listening. You feel like you're explaining yourself too much or not at all. And that's when guilt turns into grief. Because you're not just losing people, are you? You're grieving shared futures that will never happen. Plans that felt certain. Inside jokes that don't land anymore. Dreams that no longer line up. You're mourning something invisible. And invisible grief? That's the hardest kind to explain. Especially when nothing bad even happened. No betrayal, no explosion, just evolution. But still, that guilt whispers in your ear. Shouldn't I stay loyal? Shouldn't I be grateful? Shouldn't I try harder to keep things the same? And here's the truth most people learn way too late. Staying the same to protect others eventually turns into resentment. And resentment? That slowly kills love. You start showing up less. Not because you stop caring, but because you're exhausted from being somewhere you've already outgrown. Growth doesn't mean you forget where you came from. It means you honor it without letting it trap you. Some people are gonna feel left behind, not because you abandoned them, but because they chose familiarity over transformation. And that doesn't make them wrong. It just makes your paths different. The guilt you feel, it's not proof you're doing something wrong. It's proof you're human. But here's something you need to realize. Sometimes people don't actually miss you. They miss access to the version of you that made them comfortable. Your growth isn't a competition. Your evolution doesn't erase anyone's worth. It just reveals alignment, or the lack of it. And that's okay. You can love people deeply and still accept that they can't walk where you're going. You can honor memories without forcing a future that doesn't fit anymore. Because if you shrink yourself to keep others comfortable, you're not saving the relationship. You're just losing yourself quietly. And losing yourself That's a way heavier loss. So let me leave you with this. Outgrowing people isn't the end of connection. It's the beginning of a more honest one, starting with yourself. Growth will always change who walks beside you, but it'll also bring you closer to who you are. And that's not something to feel guilty about. That's something to respect, because the most dangerous thing you can do is stay small to make others comfortable. And the bravest thing you can do is grow anyway, even when it hurts, even when you feel guilty, even when you're alone. Because one day you'll look back and realize you didn't lose people by growing. You found yourself, and that was worth everything. If this resonated with you, if you've ever felt guilty for outgrowing people, drop a comment below. Let's talk about it. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, share this video with them, because sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is remind each other that growth is not betrayal. It's evolution, and you're not alone in this. I'll see you in the next one.